Hello, members of Congress. My name is Elizabeth Hassey, and I'm here to present on the current state of infant mortality in the United States and what can be done on this issue. Some background. Infant mortality is defined as the death of an infant under the age of 1. Deaths are measured using the infant mortality rate, which calculates the number of deaths per 1,000 births. Infant mortality is broken down into 3 categories based on age when death occurred: perinatal, neonatal, and postnatal, and infant mortality is a widely reported indicator of the health of a population. In 2007, the United States recorded 6.8 deaths per 1,000 live births, which ranked relatively low compared to similar countries and is more aligned with countries like Serbia and Malaysia. This bar chart shows the commonality of the top leading causes of death among infants. The most common cause is congenital malformations, deformation, and chromosomal abnormalities such as trisomy 13 and congenital heart defects. The second leading cause is short gestation, such as babies born under 27 weeks and low birth weight disorders. And the third leading cause is maternal complications of pregnancy, such as preeclampsia and infection. Unfortunately, with these deaths, we also see a disparity that largely affects minorities, such as Black, non-Hispanic groups. Studies have shown that socioeconomic disadvantages are linked to higher adverse birth outcomes, as well as structural racism due to the multitude of stressors it places on these mothers throughout their lives. Non-Hispanic Black mothers experience the highest rates of infant mortality among all racial and ethnic groups, with 10.97 deaths or infant deaths per 1,000 live births. They also have the highest rates of preterm birth and low birth weight, both of which are leading causes of infant death. Another health disparity seen is between age groups, with mothers under 20 having the highest rates of infant mortality and mothers 30 to 34 having the lowest rates of infant mortality. So what has been done since 2007 to improve our rates? Well, hospitals are getting better at teaching parents safe sleep before they are discharged home with baby, which has reduced the occurrence of SIDS-related death. Health departments are introducing smoking cessation programs that inform women in underserved communities on the effects smoking can have on a fetus, such as low birth weight and failure to thrive. Health departments are also targeting Medicaid populations to inform them about the risk of pre- and early-term births and what can be done to prevent them from occurring. And there's also a push to increase access to contraceptives during the postpartum period due to the complications of becoming pregnant soon after a delivery, which is associated with health risks to mom and baby. Here you can see a study done by Collier and Molina addressing maternal mortality in the United States, and they list interventions that can improve maternal death rates, which also in turn can improve infant mortality rates as well. America's Health Ranking, which is a United Health Foundation, also lists interventions that once implemented could reduce infant mortality rates, and these include reducing maternal obesity, reducing maternal smoking and alcohol consumption, improving access to and use of ongoing prenatal care, improving preconception health of all women, increasing minimum wage, and improving sleep practices among infants and newborns. And what can Congress do? In a study done by researchers at Drexel University, they found that increasing funding in areas such as public health, housing, parks and recreation, and solid waste management were associated with lower rates of infant mortality. They also found that a slight spending increase in areas such as education, social services, and environment resulted in a statistically significant improvement in decreasing infant mortality rates as well. Congress could also increase the minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to a more livable wage of $15 an hour. And these implementations would be particularly beneficial to those minority groups who are most affected by poor birth outcomes.